All right, so today's video, we're going to be watching a gold 3 DPS on PC playing Shion on Eichenwald. And they say, hello, I used to heavily play Widowmaker, 234 out of my 901 hours, but I became washed. So now I try to focus on Shion, but I feel like I am lacking in terms of value I can secure. I always try and go for the flanks, but I feel like I am missing something I could do, or rather the timings when I should be where. More often than not, I find myself flanking and then my team is falling apart. My personal goal has always been reaching diamond, but I always end up struggling in plat right now, even in gold. Any advice on how to pull more value for my team would be great. I've been watching your VOD reviews a bit now and try to implement things here and there, but maybe there is something in my playstyle I should focus on more. Thank you and enjoy. All right, well, let's see. We'll go from there, figure it out. I'm ready. Go for a right click at the Eichenwald spot. Get some of that early damage already. So this is just to make this clear. That's your setup spot at the beginning of the round. Is this right here? At the very least, give me an Eichenwald spot spam. You know, give me something. Let me set up here. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Like, you know, starting positioning can be really key. So, yeah, send something in there for early damage. Either way, now you're on the flank. I can accept this. Remember, you don't want to stay here too long. Your teammate already showed there. Okay, good job. If your teammate's in the same angle, expect them to look at that angle. Don't be afraid to go up onto the bridge above you and try to aim down. It seems like you are on the right track thus far. This is good. Okay, I don't really know where to go with that. Remember to use a little bit of that, you know, like, you could... Okay. So I'm just going to assume, and again, I don't have as much Shion time, I will admit, but I'm going to assume that already your lack of using a bike early, like in the first, like, probably 2 team fights, is, like, missed ult charge. Like, obviously, if you're on attack, it might be a little bit differently because you want to be able to one-shot people, but I feel like defensively... at least do a little bit of early bike damage. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but that 20% ult charge you miss out on could lead to like a make or break ultimate later on. Either way, I think like you going up here was fine, but then the rest of your teammates got rolled. But I think like you're starting, just to be honest, is like it's very default. You're not really trying to make an impact. You're kind of waiting for them to come to you, and like I just feel like sometimes that can be a miss. So just a little bit of a note on that one. All right, at least in my opinion. But so far, like, you know, you are, like, if you're wondering, yes, you're creating off angles. I want to point that out. This is good. Like, you're creating off angles, which is nice. But I do want you to not also be AFK during this. Like, you definitely want to... Here's the problem. Okay, I want to teach you something here. This is called the double off angle problem, where everybody hears about off angles, so you both do the right play, but you do it together. The point of off angles, and keep in mind, if this is like a Kiriko with you, or like a Lucio, a Juno, etc., I'm fine with that. But try not to double stack your DPS on the same angle, because then it's not this. It's just a spot. Does that make sense? See what I'm saying? Like you're both in the same spot, which means that the Junkrat spam, right, or not the Junkrats, yeah, the Junkrat spam, the Sigma spam gets double the value. So basically, the point I'm making is if you're Cassidy keeps ending up on the same angle, you're going to be in a rough spot. So you're going to want to be taking this angle for now. You want to go up here. You want to be annoying at these angles. But if you end up at the same spot, you're basically losing the value because you're both going to get spammed out and spend more of the game running backwards than actually making plays. So if I ever see my teammate go on the same angle as me, I just try to go to the other angle when I have the time and availability. You were playing Shion. As much as I would, you could be like, yeah, well, why doesn't Cassidy go to the other angle? Because guess what? Cassidy doesn't have your mobility. So... in this situation, you want to rotate the other way, which you seem to be doing, by the way, which is good. There you go. Good job. This is correct. A little bit close. See how one thing I want to point out to you, do you notice how the spot I showed you was a little bit more the other way? That was because you can escape a little bit sooner after. Yes. You had the right idea, but now you kind of lost your timing, so you're kind of indecisive, which is normal, but remember, the Junkrat's going to be there. Remember, with Shion, you have a lot of mobility. Notice how you get stuck in the mud there and kind of just, like, didn't go anywhere? Be decisive on the flank. Go behind, and then try to be annoying in that backline. You kind of get stuck there, you don't know where to go, and then you end up cornering yourself. You know, with Shion, it's okay to play with your team. I just feel like when they're playing like they are, you have so much opportunity to be annoying in the backline. Good kill there on the Junkrat. So, something to keep note of. I got to rewind very quickly. 1 second. I'm sorry. Give me a moment here. I got to rewind very quickly. I'm a little bit curious now. Sorry. Okay. I gotta see what happened here. I'm just curious now. So there's a Moira and an Echo over here. The Moira is trying to battle the Echo. Jumps off the map, and then the Echo... Okay. Back to the Shion. All right. A little bit of funny moments added there, huh? Okay. I was wondering. I saw the kill feed. I'm like, huh? I'm going to assume they were resetting at that point. I'm gonna. That's the only thing I can assume. What a game we got so far. I do like that you're being a little bit more like mobile around the map. Definitely utilize that. Nice shot. Good job there. Okay, so what's your plan now? Are you gonna? Yeah, there you go. Some early damage. Now remember, you're not gonna do well in a duel against a Junkrat. So be very careful of trying to take this duel until the jump pad exists. Oh, by the way, I just realized this is like basically probably our last spectating on Eichenwald in the version that it is. For anybody hearing this in the YouTube video, this map's getting reworked a little bit. So some of the advice I might give in this map might shift a little bit. I don't know what the reworks are going to look like, but just to keep note of, this map will shift a little bit in how it plays. How that will be, I don't know. We haven't played the map yet, so I don't have any way to like let you know. But yeah, I just realized that. One of the last times we'll have this version of Eichenwald. All right, good kills there. Nice ult. I like your decisiveness. Remember, I try to give this advice to people. You don't need to do 5 people ultimates to have a good ultimate. If you win a team fight, it's a successful ult. Just remember, you don't need 5 people in an ultimate if it wins you a team fight. Learn how to find value with your ults with just 1 kill if it means that you win the team fight. You're like, well, and I'll pause. It's about target priority. Like, if you know, hey, we have, you know, if I kill their Zenyatta here, we're just going to win the team fight because they don't have nothing to go with. You know, things like that. Like, target priorities. Hey, I got a kill on a Junkrat that's been causing problems. Things like that. It can be worth it. It really can. All right, yeah, the map's getting reworked. Basan and Rio are both getting reworked also. They showed a little bit of it at OWCS. Looks good. Obviously, we'll have to see how it plays, but... Again, I want to point out to you, the way that you're moving around the map now has been much better, and this is how you want to play. This is really good, so... Wait. Was the solo ult on Lifeweaver necessary? It sent a message, okay? And sometimes sending the message is necessary. I mean, not necessarily, but I also... One of the things that we have a problem with most of the time is that players will not use their ultimates, so I'd rather see players be proactive in how they use their ultimates. I'd rather see players, you know... use their ultimates proactively than not use their ultimates at all. I find a common trend is someone waits for that perfect moment, right? The ult did get 2, technically, yes. So I'd rather see people kind of like, you kind of just keep the momentum. Keep the momentum. And I think like, I'd rather see somebody take those risks or like aggressive plays than just sit there and wait for the 5 people. And I always want to like point out when, even if the ultimate on paper doesn't look like a perfect ultimate, I think a kill is a good ultimate. If it means you win the team fight was won. Obviously, we can, you know, argue numbers and things like that, but I think I'm okay with that. Yeah. You hold ultimates for a long time, you? Exactly. I really do. Being proactive with ultimates goes a long way. Obviously, ult economy is the thing that you hear about, and I want to point out to you, by the way, you're in a duel with a Junkrat right now. This Junkrat's caused some problems for your team. See what you're doing? This is why I like the more proactive gameplay. You're distracting somebody. If your teammates die in the backline, yeah, I mean, you can go back and help, but sometimes you also need to experience this part of the game of, like, you know, being just a distraction, which you are doing a good job of that in this backline. So, yep. What are we watching? We're currently watching a gold Shion. So obviously your teammates are losing duels, but like, you know, you've done what you can here. Now you want to probably, honestly at this point, get the kill on Junkrat. You're down 2, right? You're going to be down in numbers anyway, so you might as well keep them isolated. Okay, now you're good. Yep. Your timings are correct, because now you have 2 people chasing you. So don't go into the room, though, because you did everything right up until that point. I knew that was going to happen. So basically, remember who you're dueling. Do you want to fight a Junkrat in a small hallway, or do you want to have the Junkrat go into a more open space? Keep going up that high ground, and you're still in this team fight, and you might even be able to win the whole thing. Oh. Hi, sir. Arnie just came out of nowhere. Hi, little guy. Definitely try to recognize the heroes you're facing in a duel. If you're facing maybe like a Soldier 76 there, I have 0 problems with you going in there to take that duel. Going in there against a Junkrat, see what I'm saying? So everything was good up until that point. So a lot of right now, mechanically, you have some good things happening. Obviously, you still working your aim and your movement. But I think right now you're almost, it's really just your decision making and target focus. Sometimes you kind of just don't know when to finish a kill. You don't know when to back away from a kill. And just, in the end, just recognize the duel you're taking. Junkrat in a small hallway, probably not good. Junkrat in the middle of the open, much better. Right? I think that's pretty straightforward there. Okay, so I want to, remember when, okay, I gotta pause for a second. At that point, remember the tire can see you? So, like, if you get closer there, you've given away your positioning. So, normally there, what you would do is you would sit on the stairs and maybe, like, see if you can kill the tire. You're probably not going to kill the tire. So, why let the Junkrat know you're there? The Junkrat can see you with that tire. So, now the Junkrat also knows you're there, so you've cornered yourself in this spot. Now, you could be fine, but again, you're putting yourself in this small hallway against the Junkrat. And the Junkrat is behind you. Thankfully, there you go. I actually don't mind this, and I don't mind this decision either. We'll see how it goes. So, I'll explain in a second. You need to get kills here. Yes, good job. Perfect. That was exactly what you do. Rather than go and try to like fight their tank, going into the backline, using your ultimate and causing pressure should open the doors to your team. If you lose that team fight now, they just played it better. That's it. Because you're probably going, oh, should I have gone back? No, I think that's the correct play. And if you hold it, even better. If you don't, then is what it is. But like, you basically, when the spawns are this far away, making the numbers go the way that they did is beneficial to you. Zaps, thanks for the tier 1 because thank you. This, again, has been good picks by you. Totally fine. Obviously, I would love to see you survive that. Maybe find, like, one more, like, set of bike damage there. But you've accomplished what you're supposed to. When your spawns are this close, like, any elim you get is going to be beneficial for the overall team fight. And as you can see, you won that team fight. So, I want to show you that that was a good decision that you made. Okay? Obviously, you want to clean up your escape. Remember, you know, survivability is also key, but like the idea to go to the backline and trade was an excellent job, and that, you know, people should do more of that. Look at it that way. Backline trades when your team is losing a team fight can end up winning you a team fight overall, which is what it did. Again, recognize the hero, you're running that in a straight line, but I do appreciate the aggression, although in that situation, I would say kill the person on cart. I am now very confused because there's still somebody on cart, and I've watched 3 of you now run at the Junkrat and give their team a chance. So, hopefully your team ends up cleaning this up, but y'all almost gave him 3 kills there. Good cleanup there. You got that still, but that could have been scary. Remember, recognize the hero you are dueling. Do not play to their strengths. You know, isolate the weaknesses, basically. Like, and running at them in a straight line there, a little bit rough. Yep. I mean, you can even, like, you don't need to run your bike into the Junkrat at that point anyway. You can do it from a small distance, right? As long as it's accurate, which obviously, truthfully, if you're playing Shion, you want to find some accuracy with the bike throw. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. I'm not going to act like you're going to watch me play Shion and hit every bike. If anything, I'm going to be missing everyone, but it's the thought that counts. All right, so anyway, decent defense. I mean, you hold. That's good. Good morning, everybody. Yep, the angles have been, honestly, the angles on Shion have been solid. I haven't been, my issue hasn't been angles. It's more about readjusting the angles when the time, like when your teammate's on the same angle. But like, this has more been about decision making on hero selection or like understanding duels. It's basically just like, I'll give you kind of a example. Like, remember, you don't have to, yeah, see, you're doing it again. Okay, just to point out to you, you do not have to drive into them. Just hit your button again on the bike and it will launch into them. You're getting yourself killed doing this, all right? I know you want to get that little bit of extra, like, you know, burst, right, on them, like, by hitting them. Like, just send it in there. That's going to be way more beneficial than what I'm seeing right now of you falling over. This is how you lose games, is this type of decision-making, so I want to see you pick up on that. Like, you have no reason to go into that hallway, is basically what I'm saying. Just hold the bike up. Yeah, jump into the air, exactly. Send the bike in there, do some damage. You're still alive during this team fight, and I'm not watching this sequence happen. Yeah, you can do that. And obviously, you know, any advice chat gives about the heroes. Because obviously, I don't play every single hero all the time, but I have an understanding of how to angle out and things like that. So, yep. Yeah, like you're talking about when you hold it in the air to like kind of like slow things down and then get the high ground. Yes, that is the thing. Yep. I think you're doing a lot right on Shion. It's more along the lines of like I think your decision making on like hero selection is causing a problem for you. It's like, okay, so this is the example I was gonna give. If I'm playing Diva, and I always hear people say like, oh, Zarya's a hard counter to Diva. Not really with bubble time. It's a soft counter, But like, if I'm playing against a fully charged Zarya, am I gonna fly at the Zarya over and over again and expect a good result? No, I'm gonna play around the Zarya. I'm gonna play to my strengths, not the Zarya's strengths. That's what you need to think about when you're taking this duel with Junkrat, right? Junkrat's strength is gonna be like the small hallway areas that will get you killed, right? So. So anyway, hope that makes sense. Obviously, you know, you get an Echo ultimate out there due to your aggression, which is always nice. It's good to get that aggression out. Oh, yeah, that's true. So less mobility on that one. Right idea. Again, you're being a distraction here. Obviously, try to be as active in the team fights as you can, but you have set yourself up for good position, so I'm okay with this. Good pressure for now. Your teammate got a kill. Do you want to help? Do you want to stay? Let's find out. You made the right decision, by the way, in case you're wondering. I was waiting to see what your decision was. So the reason why you want to go for them is because your teammate killed a Mercy, and at that point, you don't want to hide and wait for your teammate to spawn because that Mercy will be back in time anyway. So what you want to do is you want to keep the pressure on so that this happens. By the time your teammates are back, nope. Okay. Now remember, it's not going to get any better if you go up that stairwell again. So you want to, you want to go up that way with your bike. Or, go to anything besides going against that Junkrat, all right? Anything besides that. Okay? Now, am I wrong to say that I see an ult opportunity up there? Okay, again, I want to reiterate to you, you do not have to drive into them every single time. That is going to get you killed more often than not. So did we see the indecisiveness there? You have 3 people in the middle of the open that are pretty low. You have an opportunity to be aggressive with your ultimate. Again, it's probably like a 70-30 ultimate. There is a chance that you get shut down. That's the nature of the beast in Overwatch sometimes. Instead, you go back, you go for the Junkrat, you put yourself out of position, you end up dying due to the ultimates, and you end up giving up all that space and creation that you had, right? So, like, in that situation, I would have been a little bit more aggro with your ultimate, in my opinion, rather than, like, passive with your ultimate. So, just to point out there. Yeah, yep. Am I doing? Yeah, we're vibing. Yeah, because the Mercy was already half. That's what, I saw the same thing you saw. Okay. Good kill. I mean, again, if you, by the way, notice how you didn't just drive into the Junkrat again? Nice try there, but good aggression. As long as you win the team fight, I'm okay with that. But again, like, I want to point out to you, you chose to solo out the Junkrat in front of you, but you could have cleaned up a team fight prior. Do you see where I'm a little bit like, come on, you got this? Like, because I'm seeing opportunities that you're just missing, and I think that would be a lot better in the long run. Anyway, I think it's more like you do all the right things, but then when you finally get to the moment to really take over a game, you kind of play it safe, and I think you need to be a little bit more aggro. I hope you're noticing these moments I'm mentioning because you're really close to being able to go on a good streak here. Because mechanically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I feel like from a gold mechanics, like this is a gold player, your aim is more than fine for gold. Right now, it's your decision making. You know, like driving your bike into a Junkrat rather than like doing it at range and dying in a small hallway. You know, having a free, you know, team wipe or the opportunity to take over a team fight and you just like play it safe and then solo out later, right? You're doing a lot of the right things, but you're also playing it safe when the moment matters the most, right? All right, I would also recommend being, like, not AFK. Yeah, I mean, when you're able to outduel an Echo, and again, that Echo's decision, like, okay, let me ask you this question. This is actually a perfect example. As the Shion player right there, do you feel like that Echo played that well against you? Like, as Shion right there, do you go, wow, that Echo made a good decision? No, you're going, wow, what was that Echo doing? That's what the Junkrat says to you with the way that you're playing against a Junkrat, because you know the Echo should be up in the air trying to get that kill against you and then finishing a kill later on. You know that, right? So the Junkrat sees you and goes, why is this Shion just going right into me every time, right? Because you're playing into their strengths. Now, again, if the Junkrat's in the middle of the open, like this area, that's a little bit different. If the Junkrat's around here and you make a little bit more of an aggressive play because things are working out, I get that. But if a Junkrat's in here, speaking of a Junkrat in here, this is where you don't want to take that duel. See? Middle of the open, good. In here, bad. Unless, of course, they're at 1 HP and you know you can win it. But that's how you get one shot by Junkrats. Again, decision making. All right? Because when you see that Echo, you're probably thinking the same thing. Good kill on the tire. Great job. dude, this VOD is just giving me examples left and right. This is what I mean. I'm talking about how if you take the duel against a Junkrat in the middle of the open much better than the other way, and then the Junkrat immediately flies into the middle of the open. This couldn't be any better. This is great. And then you get a free kill on Junkrat. The Junkrat was inspired by you doing the same thing, and now you get the cleanup kills. Now you're with your team, and you might get the point. Look at that. See? And all because why? Their Junkrat went into you. Look at that, easy. Now you get to the third point, and obviously it's going to come down to any game here on who plays better, but good start. Good start. Oh, why is that Scarlet? Is there like... Still watching. I'm okay with that ult, by the way. I'm okay with that ultimate. Definitely play to live after that, but like, look, remember earlier on that bridge when I wanted you to ult? Look at what you just did for your team. Your Reinhardt ran into Junkrat and died to him. Again. Well, what is up with you? Again, just as a note, do not go into small hallways against Junkrat. It's better to survive than lose your teammate. Yo, 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 yo. Huh. So, okay. So remember when we talked about decision making? You're okay. Wow. So if you're in last, okay, the game's about to end right here, so I'll let the game finish. So if you're in last team fight territory, like literally last team fight, why would you go one of the slowest heroes in the game to get back to the point? At that point, you need to come back as Shion. You need to come back as a quick hero because that's last team fight. Like you're relying on your teammates to hold the ground there. No, you have to come back as Shion. So again, kind of going back to your decision making here, that's going to be your problem. So listen, mechanically, I think your aim is fine. Obviously, you're going to miss some shots. That just comes with practice and time. You're going to get, as you improve in ranks, you're going to have to adjust your aim due to like better movement, et cetera, and that will improve over time, hopefully, right? But like your decision making, like that's your number one issue. Like, you know, you have moments to win a team fight with an ultimate, you play it safe. You have moments to, you know, stay alive against a Junkrat, but isolate them out and keep them out of the team fight. You decide to drive into their team and fall over. All of it's decision making right now. You're going on the angles correctly. You're readjusting your positioning. You're even being aggressive with your ultimate at the right times. But most of the reason why you're getting rolled is because you're decision making. Junkrat in a small hallway, let me chase him, right? Not the play. So real talk, if you just clean up your target priority, you work on a little bit of like maybe your movement with your mechanics, as in like setting up on high grounds more and just playing to live a little bit more. Like in situations, playing to live is not backing out of team fights in a 3v4. It's more like making sure you're at good HP to continue a team fight. Strength in numbers. Remember when you went to the backline? If you found a way to survive that by just backing up rather than finish those kills, you probably win that whole map because then you get the health back behind you. You have numbers. You clean up that Kiriko a limb. You get the Junkrat a limb. Everything works out. You probably win the whole map right there. Point being, your decision making is generally what's causing the problems right now. Hopefully you kind of see what I'm talking about. Once you fix that, you'll be in a good spot. Straight up, once you fix just not running into small hallways against Junkrat, being a bit more proactive with your ultimate when the time is right, I think you will climb. I think your mechanics are good enough to climb. Let's get that decision making cleaned up. Hopefully all the examples I gave you helps, and I think you will do this. You got this. You absolutely got this. You like the video? Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't, leave a comment. All that helps. You want to submit your own spectating? My Discord's where to do that. If you want to watch more of these and learn about the game or just be entertained, click the link down here. It's going to be a good one. With that being said, hope you all have an amazing day/night.